Hello, everyone. Welcome back for another update of this journey that we started. I think it's going on 12 weeks ago when we started doing the video, and we actually have a lot to share tonight. So we'll dive into that right here. I think I'm going to call this update kind of a fork in the road, as we share with you kind of what has transpired this week. I think you understand why. So, first update is on Monday. Every Monday, I go in for blood work, and since I started the chemo and radiation, my blood work has come back positively. So, all the different things that they check, and I wouldn't be able to detail them accurately, but the white blood cell count, the red blood cell count. There are probably 12 different categories that they send out to have tested, and then we get back. And I get the results either later that day or the next day, and it comes on an app that I have for UPMC, and I get to see. And the way that it's depicted to me, and the way that I can understand it, they have a good range that's in blue, and then they have a low range and a high range that are in yellow. And nearly every category I've been in the blue throughout. When we got the results back this past Monday, the one number had dropped significantly, and that's the platelets. And for those who are not familiar, as I was not prior to this week, the platelets are what help your blood to clot. So, and Carrie, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe the number before this week I was in the 170 range.
Yeah, 177.
Okay, 177, and it dropped all the way to 23. And when the doctor saw that, we had our regular Tuesday appointment with the radiation oncologist and the nurse there, and they said that 23 is low, but it wasn't too low. But I believe the number that the nurse gave us was 17.
I said 15.
Or 15. If it dropped below that number, then I would possibly need to have a transfusion, a platelet transfusion.
Okay, wait, let me just do a timeout.
Go ahead.
And then they told us at that point, because that was the radiation, they told us that that the chemotherapy side saw it, and they should be contacting you. And we never got a call at that point in time. And even when we were there discussing it, they didn't even talk to us at that point. So,
which led me to believe that perhaps it wasn't all that serious.
Right.
Because if it were to be very serious, I would expect that they would contact me. So, so this is now Tuesday. Wednesday, which was yesterday, I had a pretty bad episode of, previous night, Tuesday night, I had a pretty bad episode of what I believe to be acid reflux. So I had a very strong burning sensation in my stomach. It kind of traveled up into my chest. This was later in the evening on Tuesday night. It probably lasted about 30 to 45 minutes. I was able to go to bed, and I slept through the night all right. So last night, went to bed at a fairly regular time, and around midnight I woke up and I just had like a fire burning in my stomach. I was writhing in pain, tried to get up, move around, try to take some Tums that we had to help out, and that lasted about 20 minutes. And for whatever reason, God's grace is ultimately the reason it did go away, and I was able to sleep throughout the night.
Yeah, and I was going to say that whenever he told me and woke me up with him not feeling well, that I was thinking, so I went on Google, of course, and then I saw ulcers, and then I saw that ulcers can also cause bleeding, and so then I started to panic, like, okay, we already know his platelet count's down, his blood can't clot, and then how do we know what it is to know if it's an ulcer? And so that kind of put a little bit of fear in there with that, mixed with that.
Mm-hmm. So today I had my regular radiation appointment, and afterward we went over and talked to the nurses, because the one tip that we were given from the beginning from the medical oncologist was that if I feel anything out of the ordinary, and I think his words were, if I feel anything extreme, and to some degree this was extreme because I had never dealt with acid reflux before, to notify the nurses. So we did that today. And given that my platelets were really low, and now I was having this, actually we had the whole team there. So we had the radiation nurse, the radiation oncologist, the medical oncologist, and the nurse on that side. So everyone was kind of putting their collective minds together and decided that for right now they're going to put all the therapy on hold. So until further notice, and I'll actually go back for another blood test Monday. Got ahead of myself though, because I had a blood test today.
Right, yeah. They want you now to take it. Before you were getting just blood tests every Monday.
Right.
And now they want Monday and Thursday.
Right, but what I was going to say is that my platelet count dropped.
Oh, right, again. Right.
Right. So from Monday until today, it went from a 23 to 11. And so that is below that baseline that they told us of 15 or 17, whatever it was. But they still don't want to do a transfusion. And again, I might be misquoting this or not representing this accurately, but I believe they said that they really try to shy away from platelet transfusions because the platelets only remain in the blood for about 12 hours. So it would just be a very temporary fix. And thankfully, I haven't had any issues with bleeding. Even when they draw blood, it seems that the little bit of bleeding that occurs after the drawing of blood seems to clot just fine. So, in one sense, it's a little bit scary because I could be at high risk if I were to have a laceration of some sort, either externally or internally. On the other side, it's fine. And the medical oncologist was a little bit perplexed because he said typically whenever the platelet count drops, the white blood cell or the red blood cell, or both, also drop. And he said that hasn't been the case. So thank God for that. The rest of the numbers remain solid. So the doctors aren't sure, and the medical oncologist said that my situation is unusual. Yeah. So that's why they're putting everything on hold. And as I've been sharing, my last day was going to be Tuesday. So that would have meant I would have had one more radiation appointment tomorrow and two more Monday and Tuesday of next week. And then I would have had a total of 5 chemo pills that I had to take, one per day. So that, I'm not sure what's going to happen there. What I'm hoping doesn't happen is that they put it on hold until Monday or Tuesday and say, okay, well, let's extend this.
Right.
Yeah. At that point, they might get a no from me because I don't want this going into next weekend. So anyhow, that's kind of the big news. So for those of you out there who are praying, just pray that the doctors would have wisdom in knowing how to treat this. They did want to put me on a couple of stronger antacid drugs, which we have a script. We haven't gotten it filled yet. I actually was looking forward to, since I'm not going to be having any therapies over the next 3 or 4 days, to getting off of some of the other drugs. So the only one that is absolutely necessary at this point, at least from the doctor's perspective, is the anti-seizure medication. So I will remain on that until further notice, and probably for quite a while. While that isn't my desire, probably is prudent to remain on that. So the other stuff, though, that might go by the wayside. That's what I'm hoping. I don't want to take this stuff. So if you could pray for that, and also just pray that I would not have any lacerations that would lead to bleeding issues. So hopefully my body can start to regenerate some platelets.
I guess the hope is by Monday, something like an improvement, not
Right,
a
right.
lowering.
Yeah, because it's been fairly significant, as we said, from the previous Monday until this Monday. It went from 177 to 23, and then from just Monday until Thursday, it went from 23 to 11. So pretty significant drops there. Again, not sure why. Could be related to the chemo that I'm taking. In fact, if it is related to any medication, they said it more than likely would be that. The radiation really wouldn't impact the platelet count. At least that's what the doctors tell us. So that's the update on how my treatments are going. I'll just do a quick shout out to, I have two cousins actually who had birthdays today on Thursday, March 21st, and that's my cousin Chelsea, who is in the Marines or the Army?
Marines.
She's in the Marines. That's what I thought. So, all right. So anyway, she's serving our country, and so I want to wish Chelsea a happy birthday. Hopefully, she'll see this. And then actually, I have another cousin, and last time I had any contact with her, she was still in California, and that's Danielle. So happy birthday to those two. And we've actually had quite a few March birthdays in my family, so it's a big month for us.
And who else has a birthday in March?
Tyson, our son Tyson, is a birthday March 27th.
Whose birthday is on Sunday?
My birthday is on Sunday.
That's right.
So,
A big old 36.
36. Yeah, so
Getting old.
at this point, I guess just thank God for another year. Right?
That's right.
Yeah, so I don't know. Just thankful for that. So as you can see here, my hair, it's almost as like I have a military style cut.
Except for if you turn around, show them the patch in the back.
I don't think it's necessary. You can describe it.
Why don't you just do it?
All right.
Okay, except for this right there. You see that? It's like he has the opposite of like a balding man. He has the opposite. He has right here and on the back, and then the whole front. The sides are. Looks good on you. Wear it well.
Yeah.
I'm being serious.
Right.
What?
So, anyway, for whatever dignity I have remaining, thanks, you just shot it.
Shut up! You walk around like that all the time.
What am I going to do? I can't stop it. So.
But you look good.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. So that's the update of what's happening with us. Hopefully, we'll get some direction on Monday or Tuesday of next week as to when this this first round will be completed. If I may ask for one more prayer, and that is that you would all pray for wisdom in our decision for the next round. As I have discussed in previous videos, the next round will not involve radiation, but it would involve chemo. And as I sit here today, I am leaning against doing that. I don't want to be foolish. At the same time, what we're doing right now is kind of a shot in the dark, and there really is no way to determine at this point how effective it is. I guess when we have the follow-up MRI on April 16th, we might get some answers, but maybe not. But just overall, I don't like the idea of what the chemo is doing to the rest of my body. This acid reflux and platelet count drop certainly could be an indication of some of the things.
And plus, they wanted to double your next, whenever you do it for the 5 days on and 23 days off, they wanted to double it, right, the next time.
Right.
And then the time after that, up it one more time.
Right, yeah.
And
So it'll get much stronger.
Yeah, but if your body's already having a hard time with it right now.
Right. Though through the first 5 weeks, I really didn't have that much of a hard time. The nausea was the biggest issue that I've dealt with. Yeah, it's sleeping. So, anyway, if you all could be in prayer for that I would just have wisdom. Obviously, I want to do what's best for myself and what's best for my family. And if it's really going to take a toll on me and I'm not going to be able to be there and enjoy this time with my family as I wish to do, that's a consideration to stop doing it. And if I were to stop doing it, doesn't mean that I'm going to quit fighting. It just means that my battle will take a different route. So again, it's, I guess, another fork in the road that we'll be facing. So we'll wrap it up here tonight. And this is a verse that came to me in it. I probably should have been writing down the verses that I've been reading it. So I don't think that I've read this one, but if I have, it never hurts to hear it a second time. This is from 1 Thessalonians 5, verses 14